The security guard's voice was calm but firm. "Ma'am, these people are not on the authorized list. Should I escort them off the property?" I looked at my 3 children standing at my front gate, their faces twisted with disbelief and rage, and I said the words I never imagined I'd say. "Yes, remove them from my property immediately." My name is Margaret. Most people call me Maggie. I'm 72 years old and I've lived in Denver, Colorado my entire life. I raised 3 children in this city. I thought I'd built a family. I thought I'd done everything right. Before I tell you what brought me to that moment at the gate, I want to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where my story is reaching. Now let me take you back to where this all began. I married young, 23, to a man named Richard who worked in construction. We weren't wealthy, but we were comfortable. Richard was a good provider and I stayed home with the children like most women did back then. We had Jennifer first, then Michael 2 years later, and finally Lisa, our surprise baby who came along when I was 38. Richard and I, we built a good life. We saved every penny we could. We bought a modest 3-bedroom house in a neighborhood that was just starting to develop. Back then, it was the edge of the city. Trees everywhere, dirt roads, kids playing in the streets until the streetlights came on. I threw myself into being a mother. I was the room mom at school every year. I remember staying up until midnight sewing Jennifer's Dorothy costume for the Wizard of Oz, complete with ruby slippers I painted myself. I made Michael's Darth Vader costume from cardboard boxes and duct tape. He wore it so much that year, I had to make repairs weekly. I drove the carpool for soccer, dance, baseball, you name it. My van became a second home. I knew every child's favorite snack, every allergy, every inside joke. I packed lunches with little notes tucked inside, jokes for Michael, encouragement for Jennifer before tests, silly drawings for Lisa. I sat through every recital, every game, every parent-teacher conference. I was there for the spelling bees and the science fairs and the awkward middle school dances where I chaperoned. When Jennifer got bullied in 7th grade, I was the one who sat with her every night, helping her process her feelings, teaching her to stand up for herself. When Michael broke his arm playing football, I was at every physical therapy appointment. When Lisa struggled with algebra, I hired a tutor and sat in on the sessions so I could help her with homework. I didn't just raise them, I was present for them. Every single day, every single moment that mattered. When Richard died of a heart attack, sudden, just like that at 59, I thought I'd collapse. The kids were adults by then. Jennifer was 32, Michael was 30. And Lisa was 24. They rallied around me at the funeral. They held my hands. They told me everything would be okay. And you know what? I believed them. After Richard passed, I had decisions to make. The life insurance wasn't enormous, but it was substantial. The house was paid off. Richard had been smart about his retirement planning, bless him. Between Social Security, his pension, and the investments we'd made, I was financially secure. More than secure, actually. I was comfortable. I could have downsized, moved to a smaller place, handed out chunks of money to the kids. But I didn't. Something in me said to wait, to be smart, to plan carefully. The neighborhood had changed dramatically over the years. That modest house we bought for $42,000 in 1976, the area had developed into one of Denver's most desirable neighborhoods. The value had skyrocketed. Real estate agents left notes on my door monthly begging to list the property. I had the house renovated instead, put in a new kitchen with granite countertops and stainless appliances, redid the bathrooms, finished the basement, updated the electrical and plumbing. It became my sanctuary, my pride and joy. The kids loved coming over after the renovations. "Mom, this place looks like a magazine," Jennifer would say. For a few years after Richard died, things were beautiful. The kids visited regularly. Every Sunday dinner was at my house. Holidays were loud and full of grandchildren's laughter. Jennifer brought her 2 girls, Sophie and Emma. Michael had a son, Tyler. Lisa was working on her career, not married yet, but she'd come over midweek sometimes just to have coffee with me. I was the matriarch, the center of the family. I thought it would always be that way. The change was so gradual, I almost didn't notice it at first. Jennifer got a promotion at her marketing firm. Suddenly, Sunday dinners became every other Sunday, then once a month. "Mom, I'm sorry, the girls have so many activities now, it's just crazy." I understood. Kids these days are busy. Michael and his wife bought a bigger house on the other side of town, 45 minutes away instead of 15. "The commute is tough, Mom. We'll see you soon, though." Soon stretched longer and longer. Lisa met someone, a man named Brandon who worked in tech. Within 6 months, they were engaged. Within a year, married. She moved to his place in Boulder. "It's not that far, Mom, just a quick drive." But that quick drive happened less and less frequently. I told myself it was normal. This is what happens when children build their own lives. They get busy. They have responsibilities. I had to adjust my expectations. So I did. I stopped expecting Sunday dinners. I stopped assuming they'd call just to chat. I started being the one who reached out. I'd call Jennifer on her drive home from work. "Just wanted to hear your voice, honey." I'd text Michael pictures of his dad that I'd found going through old albums. "Thought you'd like to see this." I'd invite Lisa to lunch, offering to drive to Boulder myself. The responses got shorter. "Thanks, Mom, but I'm swamped." "Can't talk now, Mom, I'm in a meeting." "Maybe next month, Mom, we'll see." I started to feel like I was bothering them, like my calls were interruptions instead of connections. But I pushed that feeling down. "They're busy," I told myself. "They still love you. They're just living their lives." Then came March of last year. I woke up one morning with chest pains. I'm not the type to panic, but I'm also not stupid. Chest pains at 71 years old? That's not something you ignore. Richard's heart attack was burned into my memory. I wasn't taking chances. I called 911. The ambulance came. Turned out it wasn't a heart attack. It was severe anxiety and acid reflux, but the scare was real. They kept me in the hospital overnight for observation. From my hospital bed, I called Jennifer. It went to voicemail. I left a message. "Honey, it's Mom. I'm at Presbyterian Hospital. I had chest pains this morning. I'm okay. They say it's not my heart, but I'm here overnight. Call me when you can." I stared at my phone. Watched the minutes tick by. The nurse came in to check my vitals. Still no call. Another nurse brought dinner. Gray chicken and overcooked vegetables. I couldn't eat. My phone sat silent on the rolling table beside me. 2 hours later, she texted back, "OMG, Mom, so glad you're okay. Crazy day at work. We'll try to call later." Crazy day at work. Her mother was in the hospital, and she had a crazy day at work. She didn't call later. Not that evening. Not that night as I lay awake in that uncomfortable bed, listening to machines beep and nurses whisper in the hallway. I called Michael. Same thing. Voicemail. I left a similar message, trying to keep my voice steady, trying not to sound desperate or needy. He texted 6 hours later. "Glad you're fine, Mom. Get some rest." 3 words of actual concern. "Glad you're fine." Like I'd told him I had a cold, not that I'd been rushed to the hospital in an ambulance thinking I might be dying like his father did. Lisa didn't respond until the next day. "Sorry, Mom. Phone was off. You're okay though, right?" Phone was off. For 24 hours. Who turns their phone off for an entire day in this age? Something cracked inside me in that hospital room. Something that had been bending for a while finally snapped. I was released the next morning. A kind nurse asked if someone was picking me up. "Oh, yes," I lied. "My daughter's on her way." I took an Uber home. After the hospital incident, I started paying closer attention, really paying attention. When I did manage to get Jennifer on the phone, her conversations had a pattern. She'd ask how I was doing, but she'd cut me off. Halfway through my answer, "That's great, Mom. Hey, I need to ask you something. Did Dad have any life insurance policies we don't know about?" Michael started conversations about finances. "Mom, have you thought about estate planning? You should really have everything organized, for when the time comes. It would make things so much easier for us." For us, not for me. For them. Lisa was more subtle. She'd visit once every few months and walk through the house like she was appraising it. "Mom, this house is way too big for you. Have you ever thought about moving into a senior community? You could sell this place and the money would set you up so nicely. I started to realize that their interest in me came with an agenda. They weren't calling to see how I was doing. They were calling to check on their inheritance. The house, I learned from some casual research online, was now worth close to $900,000. My investments and savings added up to another $600,000. I had a life insurance policy worth $250,000. I was worth nearly $2 million to them. To them, I wasn't mom anymore. I was a retirement plan. In September, I had what I thought was a reasonable request. My next-door neighbor, sweet Mrs. Patterson, fell and broke her hip. I saw what a struggle it was for her, getting to doctor's appointments, picking up groceries, basic things. It scared me. Not because I couldn't take care of myself, I was managing fine, but because I realized how alone I was. If something happened to me, something serious, who would be there? I called a family meeting, not in person, I knew better by then, but a three-way call. "I need to talk to you all about something," I said when I got everyone on the line. "I've been thinking about the future. I'm getting older and I need to know I can count on you all if something happens." Mrs. Patterson next door broke her hip and Jennifer cut me off. "Mom, please don't start this again." "Start what?" I asked, my heart already sinking. "I'm just saying I need to know." "You need to know we'll drop everything and come running whenever you call." Michael's voice had an edge to it I'd never heard before. Sharp, impatient. "Mom, we've talked about this. We have our own lives." "I'm not asking you to drop everything," I said, my voice shaking. "I'm asking if I can count on you, if something serious happens. Like when I was in the hospital and none of you—" "Here we go with the hospital thing again," Jennifer interrupted. "Mom, you were fine. The doctors said you were fine. You keep bringing this up like we abandoned you or something. You didn't even call me back." The words burst out of me. I was scared. I thought I was having a heart attack like your father. I was alone in that hospital room all night, and not one of you picked up the phone. "We texted you." Lisa's voice was defensive. "We knew you were okay. Texting isn't the same as—" "Mom, listen." Lisa's voice was the one that hurt most because it was so cold, so detached, like she was speaking to a difficult client, not her mother. "We love you, but we can't be at your beck and call. We have jobs, we have families, we have responsibilities." "I'm your family," I whispered. "I'm your mother. I took care of you your whole lives. I was there for everything, every scraped knee, every broken heart, every middle-of-the-night crisis. And now I'm asking for just a little bit of that back, and you're acting like I'm asking for the world." Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence. "Mom, you need to be more independent," Jennifer said finally. "Maybe it's time to look into assisted living or—" "I don't need assisted living." My voice was louder than I intended. "I can take care of myself. I just need to know that my children, my own children, would be there if I really needed them." "You don't really need us, though," Michael said. "You just want attention. There's a difference." The words hit me like a physical blow. Want attention, like I was a toddler acting out. "Is that what you think?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "That I'm just looking for attention?" "Mom, you're fine," Lisa said. "You're healthy. You have money. You have a beautiful home. You don't need us hovering over you." "I'm not asking you to hover. I'm asking you to care." There was silence. Then Michael spoke, and his words are branded into my memory. "Mom, stop calling us every time you feel lonely or scared. We have our own lives. We can't keep doing this. You're fine. You're healthy. You have money. Figure it out yourself." I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, tears streaming down my face. "So that's it?" I asked. "That's what 50 years of motherhood gets me? Figure it out yourself?" "Mom, you're being dramatic," Lisa said. "We're not saying we don't love you. We're saying you need to stop being so needy." Needy. They called me needy. I hung up. I sat in my kitchen. The kitchen I'd renovated, the kitchen where I'd made thousands of meals for these people, and I cried harder than I'd cried since Richard died. But somewhere underneath the tears, something else was growing. Something cold and clear and sharp. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every dismissal, every casual cruelty. And I made a decision. If they wanted me to figure it out myself, that's exactly what I'd do. But I'd do it on my terms. The next morning, I called my lawyer. His name is Thomas Brennan, and he'd handled Richard's estate. Good man, fair, no nonsense. Tom, I need to make some changes, I said when I got him on the phone. Significant changes. We met at his office that afternoon. I came, prepared with documentation. My will, my investment accounts, my property deed, everything. Talk to me, Maggie, Tom said, pouring me coffee. What's going on? I told him everything. The hospital, the phone calls, the clear interest in my assets versus no interest in me as a person. I didn't cry. I was done crying. Tom listened, nodding occasionally, his expression neutral. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. Okay, let's talk about your options. Over the next 3 weeks, Tom and I reconstructed my entire estate plan. We met 4 times, long meetings where he'd pour coffee and we'd go through every single asset, every single document, every possible scenario. First, the will. I removed all 3 children as primary beneficiaries. Tom warned me they could contest it. They'll claim undue influence, diminished capacity, all the usual arguments, he said. Let them try, I replied. I'm of sound mind. I have documentation of their behavior. I have witnesses. You do, he agreed. Mrs. Patterson would testify to the gate incident. The hospital has records of your stay and the lack of family contact. The security system has timestamps and recordings. He smiled slightly. You've been meticulous. I learned from the best, I said. Richard had always been organized about paperwork. We divided my estate as follows. 40% to the American Cancer Society in Richard's memory. He'd have liked that. 30% to the Denver Women's Shelter, because I'd learned what it meant to need protection from your own family. 20% split among my grandchildren, to be held in trust until they turned 30. 10% to Mrs. Patterson, my neighbor who'd shown me more kindness in 6 months than my children had in 6 years. The grandchildren's money came with conditions. They'd receive it only if they maintained a relationship with me, defined as at least 1 in-person visit per month, or, if circumstances prevented that, a weekly phone call of at least 15 minutes. Tom assured me it was enforceable. Incentive trusts are perfectly legal. Courts uphold them all the time. What if the children try to use the grandchildren to get to me? I asked. That's why we're setting the age at 30, Tom explained. By then, they'll be adults capable of making their own decisions, free from parental pressure. Second, the house. I transferred ownership into an irrevocable trust with me as the sole trustee and beneficiary during my lifetime. Upon my death, the house would be sold, with proceeds going directly to the designated charities. My children would get nothing from it. The trust was structured so it couldn't be challenged or altered. This is the nuclear option, Tom warned me. Once this trust is established, you can't undo it. Even if you reconcile with them, the house is locked in. I understand, I said. Do it. Third, the financial accounts. I moved everything into payable-on-death accounts that would transfer directly to the charities, bypassing my estate entirely. No probate, no opportunity for challenge. This is brilliant, Tom said. POD accounts supersede wills. The money goes where you designate, period. Fourth, and this is where I got creative, I hired a property management company that specialized in estate security. I had a state-of-the-art security system installed, cameras at every angle, keypad entry at the gate I had custom built, motion sensors throughout the property, the works. The system was monitored 24/7. I hired James, a retired police officer Tom recommended, who did twice-weekly checks on the property and was on call for any incidents. I also changed every lock, every passcode, every entry point. The keys my children had? Useless. The garage door code they knew? Changed. The alarm code they might remember? Reset. Finally, I drafted a letter. Tom advised against it. "Maggie, anything you put in writing can be used against you if they contest the will." "I don't care," I said. "They need to understand why." The letter was 3 pages long. It laid out exactly why I was making these changes. It was clear, factual, and devastating. I listed dates, the hospital stay, the phone call, their requests for financial information, their sudden interest in my transition to assisted living. I quoted their own words back to them. I didn't send it. Not yet. But I had it ready, notarized and everything. "Maggie," Tom said when we finished, looking at me over his reading glasses, "are you absolutely sure about this? There's no going back once we file these documents. This will change your family forever." I looked him straight in the eye. "My family changed the moment they told me to stop calling. I'm just making it official." He nodded slowly. "Then let's make it official." We filed everything. The trust, the pod accounts, the will, all of it ironclad, all of it legal, all of it permanent. For 3 months, life was quiet. I didn't tell the kids anything. They didn't call, so there was nothing to tell them anyway. I started living differently, really living, not just existing in the spaces between their occasional acknowledgments. I joined a book club at the library. We met every Tuesday evening. The first book we read was Educated by Tara Westover. I sat in that circle of 8 women discussing family trauma and the courage it takes to choose yourself over toxic family bonds. And I realized I wasn't alone. 3 of the women had similar stories. Children who drifted away, who only called when they needed something, who treated aging parents like obligations rather than people. I took a watercolor painting class at the community center, Thursdays from 2 to 4. I'd never painted before. My first attempts were terrible, muddy colors and shaky lines. But by week 6, I'd painted a landscape of the Rocky Mountains that the instructor said showed real promise. I hung it in my living room, right where a family photo used to be. I volunteered at the food bank twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, 8 to noon. I sorted donations, packed boxes, helped families shop for groceries. I met people who had so little but were so grateful. It put things in perspective. I had a beautiful home, financial security, and my health. What did I really have to complain about? I made friends, real friends. Sarah from book club, who was a retired teacher with a wicked sense of humor. Linda from painting class, who'd lost her husband the same year I lost Richard. Tom and Marie from the food bank, a couple in their 80s who still held hands while sorting canned goods. These people wanted to spend time with me because they enjoyed my company, not because they were waiting for me to die, not because they wanted something from me, just because they liked me. Mrs. Patterson and I became close. We had coffee every morning on my back patio when the weather was nice. She was the one who noticed the change in me. "You seem lighter, Maggie," she said one October morning, her arthritic hands wrapped around her coffee mug. "More yourself, or maybe more yourself than you've been in years." "I feel lighter," I told her. Like I put down something heavy I'd been carrying for years and didn't even realize the weight of it until it was gone. "Your children?" she asked gently. "My expectations," I corrected. My hope that they'd become the people I raised them to be. Once I let that go, everything got easier. The security system became something I appreciated more than I expected. The cameras gave me peace of mind. I could see who was at my door before answering. The gate gave me control over who entered my space. My home felt like mine again, not like a property my children were waiting to inherit. I thought maybe that would be it. Maybe they'd just drift away completely and we'd become strangers and that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The call came 2 weeks before Christmas. Jennifer. "Hey, Mom. So we're all planning to come to your place for Christmas. Like old times, isn't that great?" My stomach dropped. "All of you?" "Yes, me and Mark and the girls, Michael and Tina and Tyler and Lisa and Brandon. We thought it would be nice to have a big family Christmas at your house. We'll all stay over, make a long weekend of it." They hadn't visited in over a year. Now they wanted to stay for a long weekend. "Why now?" I asked. "What do you mean, why now? It's Christmas. family time. Her voice had that forced cheer that set my teeth on edge. Jennifer, you told me to stop calling. You said I was being needy. You said you had your own lives. Brief pause. Mom, that was months ago. Don't be like that. We want to spend Christmas with you. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just an expectation that I'd forget everything and welcome them back. What's really going on? I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. Then her voice changed, got sharper. Fine. You want to know? We've been talking. The three of us. We're worried about you. You're getting older and this house is too much for you to handle. We think it's time to discuss your future. We want to help you transition to a more manageable living situation. There it was. The real reason. Transition to a more manageable living situation, I repeated. You mean you want me to sell the house? Mom, it's not about the house. Yes, it is. It's completely about the house, and my money, and what you think you're entitled to. We're your children. We have a right to be concerned about what? My assets? Because you certainly haven't been concerned about me. That's not fair, Mom. You're right, I said, and my voice was cold. So cold. What's not fair is raising 3 children who see their mother as a bank account instead of a person. You're being ridiculous, Jennifer said, her voice rising. We're coming for Christmas whether you like it or not. We'll be there on the 23rd. No, I said. You won't. I hung up. My hand was shaking, but not with fear, with clarity. I should have known they wouldn't listen. On December 23rd at 2 p.m, I got an alert on my phone from the security system. Vehicle at front gate. I pulled up the camera feed on my tablet. 3 cars, Jennifer's SUV, Michael's truck, Lisa's sedan. I could see them clearly on the screen. Jennifer in the driver's seat looking annoyed already, Michael getting out to examine the gate, Lisa checking her phone. My heart started pounding, but I was ready. I'd rehearsed this moment in my mind 100 times. I pressed the intercom button. Yes? Jennifer's voice came through, surprised and irritated. Mom, what is this? Since when do you have a gate and a security system? Since I decided I needed better security for my property. What are you doing here? We told you we were coming for Christmas. Open the gate. I told you not to come. I specifically told you I didn't want you here. I don't remember inviting you. Mom, stop being ridiculous and open this gate. Michael's voice now, angry. I could see him on the camera, hands on his hips, that expression on his face I remembered from when he was a teenager and didn't get his way. I took a breath. This was it, the moment I'd been preparing for. No. What do you mean, no? Lisa's voice, disbelieving. Mom, we're standing at your gate. We drove all the way here. Open it. No, you're not welcome here. Please leave my property. There was a moment of shocked silence. I watched on the camera as they looked at each other, confusion and anger spreading across their faces. Your property? Jennifer's laugh was sharp, bitter. Mom, we're your children. This is our family home. We have every right to be here. This is my home, I said, each word deliberate and clear. My name is on the deed. My money paid for it. And you made very clear you have no interest in it, or me, unless it benefits you financially. You're not coming in. This is insane, Michael shouted at the intercom. You can't keep us out. We're your family. Family shows up when you need them, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Family calls you back when you're in the hospital. Family doesn't tell you to stop calling because you're being needy. You're not acting like family. You're acting like vultures circling, waiting for me to die so you can sell this house and split the money. I could see them on the camera, looking at each other in shock. Then Michael got out of his truck and walked up to the gate. He tried the keypad. Wrong code. He tried another combination. Still wrong. He tried 3 more times, getting more frustrated with each failed attempt. Mom, what's the code? There is no code for you. You're not on the authorized list. Authorized list? Jennifer was out of her car now, marching toward the intercom. What authorized list? Mom, this is crazy. You can't just... If you've been watching this, if you've felt what I felt, if you've ever been dismissed by the people who should love you most, hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens next is exactly what they deserved. Michael started climbing the gate. His hands gripped the bars, his feet found purchase on the crossbars. He made it about halfway up before a firm, authoritative voice called out, "Sir, I need you to step down from that gate immediately." My security consultant, James, a retired police officer I'd hired specifically for this possibility, had arrived for his scheduled check. He was in his uniform, professional and intimidating. "Who the hell are you?" Michael demanded, still clinging to the gate. "I'm private security for this property. You're trespassing. I need you to leave now, or I'll be forced to call the police." "Trespassing?" Michael climbed down, his face red with anger and exertion. "This is my mother's house. We're her children. We have a right to be here." James looked at his clipboard, calm and professional. "I have a list of authorized individuals for this property. Your names aren't on it. The property owner has clearly asked you to leave. You need to comply with that request." Jennifer was out of her car now, phone in hand, trying frantically to call me. I watched the phone light up on my end. I didn't answer. Mom, answer your phone. This is insane. You can't do this." Lisa was crying now, dramatic tears streaming down her face. The same tears she used to use when she wanted something as a child. Not anymore. Those tears didn't work on me anymore. I pressed the intercom again. "I can do this. I have done this. You told me to figure things out myself, so I did. This is what I figured out. You're not entitled to my home. You're not entitled to my money, and you're certainly not entitled to my time and energy when you've made it abundantly clear I'm nothing but a burden to you." "We never said you were a burden," Jennifer shouted. "You said I was needy. You said I was looking for attention. You told me to stop calling. Those are just prettier ways of saying I was a burden. Well, I'm not your burden anymore. I'm also not your inheritance plan." "We're family," Jennifer shouted, her voice cracking. "Family shows up," I said, and my voice was cold, so cold. "Family cares. Family doesn't disappear for months and then suddenly show up demanding access when they decide they want to discuss my future, which we both know is code for getting me to sell this house. You're not family. You're strangers who happen to share my DNA and who are very interested in my bank account." James was on his phone now, clearly calling the police as backup. "This is your last chance," I said. "Leave voluntarily or leave in a police car. Your choice." They chose to leave voluntarily, but not quietly. The shouting continued as they got in their cars. The threats continued as they pulled away from the gate. I watched them disappear down the street on my camera feed. Then I sat down at my kitchen table and cried. But this time, they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of relief. They tried calling. I didn't answer. They tried texting. I blocked them. They tried showing up again. James turned them away. Finally, I sent the letters Tom had drafted. Certified mail, all 3 of them. The letters explained everything. The changes to my will, the trust structure, the new security measures. The letters laid out their behavior in clear, factual terms. And the letters made one thing absolutely clear. This wasn't about punishment. This was about self-preservation. I included one option for reconciliation: family therapy. All of us together with a professional mediator to address the fundamental breakdown in our relationships. Real therapy, real work, real change. Not one of them took me up on it. Jennifer sent a legal threat. Tom responded with documentation of harassment. She backed down. Michael showed up at my church. I had James escort him out. Lisa tried going through Mrs. Patterson. Mrs. Patterson, bless her, told Lisa exactly what she thought of children who abandoned their mother and then showed up demanding entry to her home. The extended family took sides. Some relatives called me cruel. Others called my children entitled. I stopped caring what anyone thought except the people who'd shown up for me when I needed them. Christmas came and went. I spent it with Mrs. Patterson, 2 women from my book club, and a volunteer coordinator from the food bank. We cooked together, laughed together, watched old movies together. It was the best Christmas I'd had in years.